The truth is, we as Americans, we've gotten used to a certain thing. I've lived my entire life, all 41 years, getting used to a certain thing. And that certain thing is this: we're number one. We're number one. We're the best. We're the biggest. We're the baddest. We're the strongest. That's how we've lived our lives. You've lived, no matter how old you are, and we have every age that watches this show, whether you're 95 or 5, your entire life we've been number one, the biggest, baddest on the block. I think in the future, we're going to have a hard time. I know I personally am going to have a difficult time adjusting to a reality where that may not be the case. We are now routinely getting bullied and attacked by Iran. Did you know that?
How many attacks has Iran or its proxies launched against American positions in Iran and Syria since Joe Biden took office?
There's been about 83 attacks, I think, since in the last several years.
That's a lot of attacks over 2 years. How many times have we retaliated against Iran or its proxies?
We've launched 4 major strikes.
83 attacks. We've responded 4 times. Are you ready for the new reality? And understand this, I'm still adjusting with this. So we're just going to talk through this together, you and me right now. I'm still adjusting to this new reality that has been the reality for most nations in the history of the world. And that reality is this: your nation gets attacked, gets infringed upon in any way, and your nation doesn't have the ability and or the will to respond. So you essentially just get bullied by the more committed people. That's how so many nations on this planet have existed forever. We've never experienced that. I've never experienced that. But that's the reality of where we are now. And man, does that hit you like it hits me? That hurts. And look, let's be honest about Iran. This is the same country that under Barack Obama had our sailors on their knees with their hands behind their head, took our sailors captive, and we did nothing. We did nothing to them at all. Oh, maybe you're sitting there saying, it's just Iran, Jesse. We can do whatever we want to them. Oh, you mean nuclear Iran?
From the time of an Iranian decision, Iran could produce enough fissile material for a nuclear weapon in less than 2 weeks, and it would only take several more months to produce an actual nuclear weapon.
A nuclear weapon from the nation that is really attacking us daily, pretty much, from a nation that has promised to wipe other nations on the planet off the map. This is real. It is real, and this is the cost of weakness. And this is a cost that Americans, myself included, are not ready to bear because we've never been prepared for this. We have never lived in an age where we weren't the big bad bully on the block. Yet that age is here now. And there are 1,000,001 reasons for this. We talk about it all the time. But one of the main drivers of this is weak, stupid, pathetic political military leadership. Do you ever read any history? You know we do a bunch of history on this show because I'm a history freak. Do you ever read any history? One of the things that strikes me so often about military history when you read about this battle or this, that, is how often the general at the end, the one who's in command, how often he either resigns or is fired or kills himself or is himself put to death by the nation he fought for. That is the entire history of the world. Now that seems extreme, right? Now, I don't want anyone to kill themselves, don't get me wrong, but that seems so extreme. Wow, that's over the top. How could you do this? Well, nations historically are proud of themselves, have understood the stakes of war, the stakes of battle, the cost of losing, And therefore, nations have made it known to their military leadership, the cost is high. Be on point. Don't screw up. Be ready to go. Even here in the United States of America, thankfully, we haven't been putting generals to death when they screw up in this country. But even in the United States of America, we have had trials over things like this. The guys involved in something like Pearl Harbor, they didn't get off scot-free once everything was said and done. No. Admiral, come, sit, be interrogated, answer for your failures. We're not even talking about maliciousness here. We're not even honestly talking about things that maybe can even be blamed on them. Fault doesn't matter. You were in charge. Why'd it fail? Answer for yourself. A nation that does those things is a nation that takes itself seriously, takes military matters seriously. It is a nation that will produce other military leaders who take themselves and their mission deadly serious. What I'm about to play for you is not a small thing. Maybe you've seen it, maybe you've heard it, maybe you haven't. And it'll get forgotten. You'll forget about this in a day or two, but I want you to understand what you're about to watch is a gigantic indicator that we are in very, very serious trouble as a nation.
Do you have regrets about the withdrawal from Afghanistan?
I support the president's decision.
Do you have regrets about their withdrawal or how the withdrawal occurred from Afghanistan that cost the lives of 13 of our service members?
I don't have any regrets.
No regrets. What happened in Afghanistan was not just 13 of our bravest and best dying because of the negligence of our leaders. In response to the 13 brave souls dying for this nation because of our leaders, we then, quote, responded and we drone striked 10 innocent Afghanis. 6 of them were children. Then we botched the whole thing, had people falling from the planes as we took off from Afghanistan. What happened in Afghanistan wasn't a national embarrassment. It was an international embarrassment, openly mocked by several nations on the world stage. And our military leadership is so devoid of any accountability, any patriotism now. Not one resigned. Not one general, not one colonel, not one admiral, nobody. Nobody. And the Secretary of Defense who presided over it, not only did he not resign in disgrace, not only was he not put on trial, he's totally comfortable going on television and saying, hey, no regrets. Should also be noted that same guy doesn't care that the U.S. military is full of communists now. Here's Lloyd Austin.
This is a tweet by one of your employees in charge of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and it's patently racist. They say that she had to give Karen the business, that she talks about caudacity, presumably of Caucasian people. So I guess,
Terrible.
why does the...
Look at it.
Well, why is that person
Look, you're not
so
going to get an
low?
argument from me. That's terrible. It's wrong. She shouldn't be doing that, period.
Should she be fired?
That's a DOD employee, not U.S. military uniform.
Should they be fired, Secretary Austin?
Again, as you heard in your subcommittee here, this incident was investigated and
And they're
of course
still employed.
It was investigated. Remember what they said after we drone strike 10 innocent children in Afghanistan? They actually investigated themselves, the Pentagon did. And at the end of that investigation, John Kirby, then Pentagon spokesman, got up and said, well, no, there's not going to be any punishment. No, there was no one failed, really. It was a failure of the process. 6 innocent children taken from this earth by us. No one got in trouble. Nobody resigned. You may think it's a small thing. It is an indicator that we are in very, very, very serious trouble as a nation.
Support the First TV today and get instant access to exclusive specials like Who is Ron DeSantis, the history of FBI scandals, and America's worst presidents. Visit thefirsttv.com/support or download the First TV app to become a supporter and start watching today.